Okay, so now let's look into section B, the last 3 questions, which I would say is quite kind of the hardest question on this paper also. Yep, so now let's look into section B, question 13 about progression. Yep, so as you can see here, it asks you, what kind of progression is this? So obviously this is arithmetic, because as you can see, it has a steady increase. In the condition for arithmetic progression is that you have a common difference that is a constant between every consecutive term. So from this term to this term, this term to next term, this term to next term, you should have a constant increase. And in this case, you just have to prove that, oh, this one is 50, this one is 50, this one is 50. So kind of something like 710 minus 60 all equals to 76 all minus 71 all equals to 81 all minus 76 all. That's it. Okay, that's it. Yep. And then secondly, I mean, you can also find out, so the common difference is 50, and you prove that, oh, it's a steady increase. Common difference is a constant. Yeah. If you want to prove it's a geometric progression, just prove that common ratio is a constant. Basically, set T2 over T1 equals to T3 over T2, and so on and so forth. Yep. Now, when will the monthly rental exceed to 1350 for the first time? So now just form the equation for monthly rental. Yeah, it's an arithmetic progression. It should be simple. It's just A plus n minus 1d. What is A here? A is your first term, which is 660. So 660 plus n minus 1. This one cannot change. It's just n minus 1. N is to be found. N is to be found, right? Yeah, because it's when. And then D. D is your common difference, which is 50. So this should exceed 1350. So now just do a little bit of math. 690. So n minus 1 will be larger than 13.8. So n will be larger than 14.8. That's to say, if n is supposed to be an integer, it should be minimum 15 because larger than 14.8. Okay, so that's to say, after when n equals to 15, your monthly rental will definitely be greater than 1350. So how do we find when is 15? This is another thing, because it's presented in a way that people might get confused. It's January, February, things like that. Yep, so this is your first term, second, third, fourth, and then you have 5, and so on. Right, so it's actually based on, it's actually, what is it called? Biennially, basically 2 years increase 1, 2 years increase 1, so 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. So first 2 years, second 2 years, second, third, and so on and so forth. So you can see the pattern now. So the fifth one would be January of 2029 to December of 2030, or because it's 2 years, 2 years. Yep. So if you want to find the 15, right, 15, right, it will basically be the same as this kind of format. It's just that it will now be 49 and December of 50. Yeah, because this is a 10 years. As I said, one term equals to 2 years. So 5 terms is equal to 10 years. Now you have 1 to 5, and then 6 to 10, and then 11 to 15. Altogether, it should pass already 30 years. So that's why from 2021 to this, it will be 30 years. Okay, yep. So the answer is this, January 2049 to December 2050. Make sure you follow this format, because this is how this question address all of the term here. It's in the form of January of first year to the December of second year. Okay, yep. Now third question, find the total rental paid. Oh my god, this is quite a nightmare, because you have to really work very carefully to find the number. So now, as you can see here, 2028 to this number. So basically 2028, it's how much? It should be given already, right? It's this one, 810. Okay, so in the year of 2028, you will basically have 810 multiplied by 12, because 1 year is 12 months. Yep, that's it. So this number equal to 9720. Now we want to find 2029 to 2056. So notice that, why do I specifically pull out, like separate this 2028 from this entire expression? Because 2028 is the second year. So it's not a complete term, but it's half of the term only. It only takes the second year, but they don't want 2027. So that's why you have to work it out separately, so that later you won't get yourself confused, like, oh, which one is 2 years, which one is 1 year. Yeah, just make sure you separate them. 2028 is just 1 year, And from 2029 onward, it should be in pair. So basically 2029 with 2030, and then 2031 with 2032, up until 2055 with 2056. So each of the pair will share the same value of rental, which is to say you just have to take the rental, multiply by 24, done. Because the rental is given in month, and then 2 years is all the same rental across 2 years. So it just that monthly rental times 24, you will get the final answer. Final rental of the 2 years, and you sum them together. Okay, yep. So now let's try to find first what is the rental from this period, right? Yep. So now it's a thing about sum. It's a thing about sum Sn, because now you have a series of number to be added together. And then notice that 2029 is not your first term, because 2029 is actually your fifth term. And then up until 2056. 2056, which will be your what term? You just calculate here lah. So let me just write it out. So 2021 is your first term. So now we are starting from 2029 to 20, this one will be fifth term, and we want to go all the way until 2055 to 2056, because this is what question wanted. So this is first term, this is fifth term. Let me just kind of 10th term will be this 2039, and then 15th term will be 2049. So if you work from here, 51 to 52 is 16, 53 to 54 is 17, 55 to 56, this is what we want, right? Yeah, this is your 18th term. So we want the sum of the fifth term up until 18th term. Can you follow? Okay, yeah, because now we want the sum from 2029 until 2056. So it's actually the sum from your fifth term up until 18th term. So you want sum from 5 to 18. How do you find the formula of this? Yes, basically it would be sum of the 18 minus sum of the first 4 term. Because sum of the first 18 term, it includes all of this. It includes all of this. This is a sum of 18 term. But then we don't want the first 4 term, because the first 4 term is not asked for the question. It's not asked by the question. They don't want the first 4 term. They don't want 2021 until 2028. So we have to take this out. The first 4 term need to be subtracted, and it will leave you with the remaining 5th to 18th term. Okay, yep. So now we have to find x18 and then minus x4, and then you will find the final answer. So yeah, what is x18? What is the formula of s? N minus n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1. Is it? Actually, I'm not really sure, but yeah, should be. So now we have n is 18. This is 18. So 18 over 2, 2a, a is still your same number. 55. Is it 550? 680. Okay, 680 plus n is 18, so 1750. Okay, yeah, this should give you 19530. Okay, now we want to S4, so S4 is 4 over 2, 2660 plus 350, 2940. And then we want the sum from 5th term to 18th term. It will be x of the first 18th term minus the first 4th term. So it will be 1353 minus okay, this minus that, and then it will give you 16590. And remember, this is the monthly rental, and as we know, we want the whole rental. So across the span of 2 years, you will have 24 months. So it should be, the total should be times 24. Okay, 398160. And finally, don't forget that you have the little 2028 to be plus together. So 2028 is 9720. You have to plus this up together with this, and then you should get 407880. Okay, this is in RM. Yep, that's your final answer. Yep, so now you can see, right, why do I subtract 2028 from the entire calculation? Because 2028 is only 1 year, which is 12 months. But all the other terms is in 2 years, 24 months. So if I put the 2028 inside here, right, I cannot just do 24. I cannot just have 24. I have to take the I have to separate them, and then 1 times 20. You know, you have to separate them because some of the terms here is in 2 months, 2 years already. Some of the terms here is in 1 year. So that's why it's complicated. So yes, whenever you do this kind of mass calculation, make sure you separate the cases well, so that later when you want to do some kind of manipulation like multiplication, it's easier for you. You just type a same number for this whole set of data. So for this whole set of data, it's all for 2 years. That's why you can easily just put times 24. But for this data, you have to separate it out specifically because 2028 is just 1 year. There's no 2027 here. So we cannot just put together with this data because you cannot just multiply by 24. This one only can multiply by 12. Yep, that's it. Or maybe you can do the other way around, such that you plus all together and then you minus 2028 also can, minus 2027 also can lah, but up to you. Anyway, your final answer should be 40788 all. Okay, yep, that's it for question 13. Okay. Question 14. This is about integration. I mean, this is quite straightforward. Whenever you see graph like this, it should be integration, right? Yep. So now we want to find the coordinate of point B. This one, just do simultaneous equation. Equate them together. So x equal to x, so y cube equal to y2. Yep. So don't just cancel them. Please put into like this and then factorize. So yeah, you can get y equals to 0 or y equals to 1. So in this case, as you can see that this is y equals to 0. And this is where y equals to 1. You have two intersection points and they both agree to this, which is 1 and 0. Okay, yep. So in this coordinate, it should be 1. When y equals to 1, x also equals to 1. So the coordinate is 1, 1. Okay, yep. The area of shaded region. So this one, yes, just do integration. That's it. So the tricky part here is that you can actually just perform integration towards the y-axis. So it will be this big region minus the smaller region inside. So you will get the so-called shaded region. Okay, yeah, but some people might be confused by this. They might want to do this. Integrate towards x-axis and then do this, which is also acceptable. It's just that you have to do a little bit of manipulation over your equation. It will become, y equals to square root 3, cube root, and then this one is y equals to square root. Okay, yeah, and then you can integrate this and then find the answer. This is also the same thing as integrating over towards y-axis. Just make sure that when you are integrating towards the x-axis, you should be doing something like y equal to something in x. When you're integrating towards y-axis, you should be doing something like x in the terms of y, so that later you can integrate over y. Okay, yeah, make sure that your subject is clear in each cases. Okay, yeah, the normal case is like this: y equals to something x, and then you integrate towards x. But in this case, since the question already given the answer, given the equation in the form x equals to something in terms of y, x is the subject here. So now, to make life easier, you can just straight away do integration or towards the y-axis, because it's given in this way, such that it actually fits. It actually allow us to do it easier with with integration towards y-axis. Okay, yep. So now let's try to integrate towards y-axis. It would be this one is 1, yeah. So basically, it will be integrating the limit 1 and 0, and then integrating two equations, y squared and y cubed. So now, for the easiest way, you can just straight away do y squared minus y cubed, because we can see that if we are looking from y-axis, we can see that from here, from this point, you start to travel. You will touch this curve first, which is y cubed, and then you touch y squared. That's to say, y squared is actually greater than y cubed, because you touch y squared first and you touch y cubed first. That's to say it's lower lah, kind of. It is in a sense lower than y squared. Yep. So that's to say, you can, if you want to do, you can use y squared line. You use this line, y squared. You minus this. You should also get the same answer. Okay, y squared minus y cubed. That's why it's y squared minus y cubed. It's not always the bigger power minus smaller. It can be like this, because in some cases it might be a different case when it's inverted. Okay, yeah. So in this case, in the limit is 1 and 0, and then you do dy. Why is it dy here? Because we are doing now on the y-axis. when we do on the x-axis, we do integrate dx. Now it's on the y-axis, we do integrate dy. Yep. So y cube over cube minus y4 over 4, 1 and 0, it should give you 1 over 12. Okay, yep. So again, if you want to do it differently, you can also do it separately such that you find the integral of y squared, and then you find y cubed, and then you take the larger one minus the smaller one, it should give the same result. Okay, yep. Or you can also do this way such that you integrate over x, so it will be integrate or using cube root of x minus square root of x, and remember this is integrating towards x. Okay, yep. It should also give the same result, 1 over 12. Okay, yep. Next question. Now we want the volume. Okay, so the volume generated when the region bounded by curve x equals to y squared, straight line x minus x plus 2, and y-axis. So now it's hard to visualize if you just read sentence like that. You have to actually draw it out. That's the best way. So draw this line out. Yeah, what is y equals to minus x plus 2? So this is 2, and we know that based on the equation. Let me drink some water. Wait. So we know that based on the equation, it should be y equals to mx plus c. So 2 is our c. So c here, it should be my y-intercept. And then it should, and then what? And then let's say we find a point. Let's say we take when x equals to 1, y equals to minus 1 plus 2, which is actually 1. So this equation will pass through the point 1, 1, which is this point. So you connect this point together, yeah, you are done. Y equals to minus x plus 2. So now you want this equation with x equals to y squared, these two lines bounded together with your y-axis. This entire thing is rotating across your y-axis. Okay, across your y-axis. So now we just do integration for these two equations, and it's quite simple because you just have to break them into two parts. So integrate once for this, and then integrate for this, and then you're done. Okay, yep. So this one should be simple. Let me just quickly bring it through. So let's say we want to find, this is A, this is B. So what is the volume of A? The volume of A should be the integration. Again, the limit is still the same. It's 1 to 0 because you have here 1 and then here is 0. So 1 to 0. Okay, 1 to 0. And remember to put a pi because it's volume. Volume include pi. Yep. So pi limit 1 to 0, and then inside here it should be x squared. Remember, there's a square for volume. So remember to put x squared dy. Again, why dy? Because we are now rotating in y-axis. Which axis you're rotating to, which direction you are integrating towards. So it's dy now. Yep. So what is x squared? Yes, x squared. I mean, we know x equal to y squared, right? So x squared is actually y4. So doing it out, you will find y5 over 5, 1, 0. It will become pi over 5. Okay, this is the volume for A. Now volume for B also the same thing. We have equation y equal to minus x plus 2. So x equals to 2 minus y. And then x squared equals to, yes, 4 minus 2y, no, 4y plus y squared. This one you just do it yourself, like you just try to simplify it yourself. I just make it really quick because I don't want to waste too much time. Okay, yep. So now you want to do volume over B. Same thing, pi, and you find your limit. Your limit now is not 1, 0. Your limit now is from this point to this point, right? So it's from 2 to 1. So 2 to 1, 2 to 1. X squared dy. Your x squared is actually 4 minus 4y plus y squared dy. And then you do the integration. So 4y minus 4y squared over 2 plus y squared over cube 2, 1. And your final answer should give you, let me just do it out for you. Yeah, so 4 times 2 minus 2 times 2 squared plus 2 cube over 3 minus 4 minus 2 plus 1 over 3. So yes, pi over 3. So this is your volume for B. Now the total volume basically A plus B. So pi over 5 plus pi over 3 equals to, I don't know why, but 8 pi over 15. Let me just check with the answer. Actually, it's been long I didn't look at the answer. So the what is that? Question 14. Yeah, correct. Okay, yep. So this is a way I'll do volume B, but actually I will, okay, actually this is not the usual way I do volume B lah, because now I'm doing this way now because it's more understandable for most people. But usually for the way I do volume B, I will usually treat it as a cylinder. No, not a cylinder, as a cone. As a cone. Because as you can see, when you have a triangle, when you have a piece of triangle, you rotate it across the axis, you actually get a cone, because cone is basically a triangle rotating, right? Can you imagine that? If you cannot, then just skip the rest of the video, because skip this part of the video, because you can just simply do it using this method. It should give the same result anyway. Okay? It's just that if you can understand my method, which might be easier for you and it can save a lot of time. So basically you have a triangle and it rotates, it gives you a cone, right? A cone. And the cone, we know what's the formula of the volume of cone. Volume of cone equals to 1/3 of pi r square height. So r here is your radius, which is your length of this. In this case, it would be 1, because this length over here, that color, this length over here is 1, right? So this would be 1, r equal to 1. And then my height is the height here, height, which is this height, which is also 1 here. So as you can see, you just substitute them in 1/3 of pi, 1 square, 1, it will give pi over 3. And this result is definitely, is a lot quicker, faster than what you do here. Okay, yeah, that's why I would really prefer this method, but provided you have to really understand how the geometry works and the formula of course, a cone, and then you can use this formula. If you cannot do that, then just go to the usual method, which you do the integration like this. Okay, yep. So that's it. This is just another way you can do, and it will also give the same answer anyway. Yep, that's it. So let's look into the final question. Okay. Last question. This one is a nightmare. Why? Because it's really complicated. It's really troublesome in a way, because you have to form all the equation here and there. So the thing about this question is that it's actually asking about geometry, and then it actually gives you a hint that R is the origin. Okay, but even though it doesn't give you this, even though this is not given, but you should know that whenever you see something like this complicated and then it gives you a lot of straight line, a lot of coordinate, you see it asks you to find the coordinate, find the find the intersection, things like this. This all should hint you enough that this particular question is asking about geometry. And whenever there's geometry and there's a so-called real life, real life geometry given, you should give some point, you should give every point a coordinate. This will simplify the entire real life picture into a list of coordinate which you can easily picture on the Cartesian plan. Okay, yep. So now it wants you to set my r as 0, 0. So r is now 0, 0. R is 0, 0, which is to say I'm now drawing my x-axis over r, y-axis also over r. Something like this, 0, 0. Okay, yep, y and x. Now find the coordinate of point A. This is simple. Point A is here. Point A is 0.5 above your x-axis, so 0.5 here. And then this is 4, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 1. So point A is 3 meter to the left of your y-axis, so it will be -3 here. So it's as simple as -3, 0.5. Okay, yep. Now find the distance in m of VU and VT, UT, so that the two lines can intersect at point A. So we want to find the length of VU and VT, so that the line can form a geometry like this and then intersect. Okay, yep. And find the ratio of V and VT. Okay, yeah, this one is not really hard. It's just that you have to find out. You have to really, you don't get confused by the question itself. The question is set in a way that it's trying to confuse you, but you know that everything here can be broken down, can be simplified into just a string of coordinates, into just a Cartesian plan. So just imagine now this is a Cartesian plan. You have two lines, you have UQ and PT. UQ and PT. So you have two lines here, and then you have intersection point A, and then you want to find this distance and this distance. So essentially what I mean is that if you can find the coordinate, of u and t, then definitely you can find the value of Vu and Vt because you know what is V. V is -4. Right. Yeah, so now the question becomes, how do we find the coordinate of U and T? It's basically the intersection, right? The intersection of these two lines with the line, what this line? This line is y equals to 1 because this is 1, okay? Yeah, y equals to 1. So yeah, that's how we should approach this question. And now, where's my asterisk? It's gone. So let me draw it out again. Yep, so now we want to find the intersection of these two equations, U, Q, and PT, with the line y equals to 1. And it will give you two coordinates, U and T. Based on these two coordinates given here, you will be able to find the value of Vu and Vt because it will be just as simple as minus, okay? Yeah, so now, another question. How do we find the intersection? We have to first have the equation. You have to find the equation of U, Q, and PT. That is a hard part actually, in my opinion. So now you have, again, how do you form an equation? To form an equation, you need to have y equals to mx plus c, which is gradient and y-intercept. Alternatively, you can also have another thing, which is y minus y1 equals to mx minus x1, in which you don't need y-intercept. Okay, you don't need y-intercept, but you need a set of coordinate. So now if you can find me m and find me a set of coordinate, or maybe even the x, the c, the y-intercept, then you can form the equation for u, q, and pt. Right. So now let's try to find out the m of these two lines first. Okay, shouldn't be hard because the formula of m is y1 minus y2, x1 minus x2, right? Yep. So taking the line u, q, we have 3 points here. U, A, Q. We don't know what is Q. We don't know what is U, definitely. But we know what is Q. Q is basically -3. How much is this? This. Okay, -2. So 0, -2. And then A, we just found it, right? It's -3 and then 0.5. So now we have 2 points here. We want to find the gradient between these 2 points. Okay, gradient between these 2 points. So it should be simple. Yeah, just do the gradient thing. So MUQ equals to 0.5 minus 2 over -3 minus 0. So you will get what? How much is that? 6 over 5. Minus 6 over 5. Okay, this is the gradient for UQ. Now you have gradient, you have a coordinate. Actually, to say you have actually y-intercept because this is y-intercept, right? This is y-intercept. So you have m, you have c. You can form the equation. So the equation for UQ, it will be y equals to mx plus c. Your m now is minus 5 over 6 plus c. Your c is -2. So yeah, this is the answer. Y equals to -x over -5 over 6, x minus 2. Yep, and this is the first equation. Just keep it there. And second equation, you want to find PT. Again, same thing. You have 3 points here. T, A, P. You don't know what is T, but you know what is A and P. Then you can find the gradient. So P and T, what is the gradient? P is what is the coordinate here? It's -4, -2. So from -4, -2 to -3, 0.5. Find the gradient. Yeah, so gradient, same thing. Just do the math. PT equals to -2 minus -0.5, -4 minus -3. Don't be confused by this. Yeah, it should be simple math. Okay. Yep. Just make sure you do it really carefully. Then you won't miss anything. Okay. Yep. So what is the answer? 5 over 2. So the gradient here is 5 over 2. Yep. So usually if you want to verify, you can just check. Because this line is going up, so it should be positive gradient, positive. And you can see line UQ is going down. So it should be having negative gradient. You can see over here, negative. Then it's correct, okay? Yep. So now we have gradient. Again, you have gradient. Do you have a y-intercept here? No, because all of the point is not y-intercept. It's okay. Why? Because we have a second method. We can also use a set of coordinate x1, y1 to generate my equation. So now just take whatever the coordinate you want. Let's say we take this coordinate with the gradient here. We can also form an equation. So the equation would be, oh my god, this is a bit messy, but yeah, down here. So y minus y1, the y is 0.5 just now, equals to your gradient, y minus y1 equals to gradient x minus x1. So yeah, equals to gradient x minus how much? 3. No, minus 3. Yep. So simplify it a bit. In my opinion, this is quite simplified. If you want to make it further simplified, sure. So like this lor. Okay. Yep. So this is the equation for PT. Now you have both equation. You know that they want to intersect. Of course, they intersect because you use a same point to find them. Of course, they intersect. Now the thing is that they want to cross this line, y equals to 1, and then you want to find the equation, no, the coordinate of u and t. So how do we do that? Yes, we do simultaneous equation. Whenever you want to find the intersection of two equations, just find the simultaneous equation. And in this case, it's quite simple because we know that for this entire line, the y coordinate must be 1. So you just put 1 into both equations. Put 1 into both equations. 1 equals to this. And then you do a little bit of math. So x equals to minus 3.6 for your case of u. So u, the coordinate of u, it's minus 3.60. Not 0, sorry, I think it's 1. Yep. Okay, yep, that's for u. Another case, same thing, just put, because you know that this entire line, the coordinate of y is 1. Just put the 1 into the equation, that's it. So y1 equals to this. Again, do the math. So x equals to negative 2.x. So that's to say the coordinate for t here is negative 2.81. Okay. Now you have the both coordinate here. You know that this line is negative 3. Is it? No, 4. No, 3 or 4. Negative 4. Because it's 4 down here. Okay, yep. And then u is negative 3.6. T is negative 2.8. What does the question ask? Simple. It asks the distance for VU and BT. So it's essentially just VU and BT. So VU is 0.4, BT is 0.8. No, 1.2. Yeah, and then you find the ratio of VU. What does it want? Okay, it wants VU and UT. If it's UT, then it should be this distance. So it should be 0.8, right? Yeah. So now you have 0.4, 0.8. You want to find the ratio of VU to UT. So 0.4 to 0.8. It's quite obvious, just 1 to 2. Okay, how do you get 1 to 2? You divide 0.4 with 0.4, 0.8 with 0.4, you will get 1 to 2 ratio. Okay, that's it for question 5. Question B. Lastly, question C. She wants to have a picture frame at point B and he has a straight line PB. So PB, oh, this is getting complicated. You have PB here. So prove that the straight line is not perpendicular to the straight string QU. So this line, okay, let me just change the color. I'm running out of colors. So the purple. Yeah, so this line and this line prove that they are not perpendicular. What is the formula for perpendicular? Yes, m1 m2 equals to negative 1. So how do you prove that they are not perpendicular? Yes, m1 m2 not equal to negative 1. Then it would be not perpendicular. So find the equation. So now you just now you already found that the m for this one is negative 5/6, and now you find the equation for the m for this, which is simple because gradient is essentially just these 2 points. Find the gradient, right? So this point is actually 0.5, no, negative 0.5. No, negative 1, negative 1 and 0, right? Yep. So just do your math, and negative 2 minus 0, negative 4 minus negative 1. So it will become negative 2 over negative 3, which is 2 over 3, which is your gradient of PB. Now just put the two equations together, you see whether the product give you negative 1 or not. If they don't give you negative 1, then it's not perpendicular, right? So now just put them together. So now you find the equation, and then a bit messy, yeah, so m1, m2 equal to 3 over 2, 5 over 6. Definitely it's not negative 1. Is what? It's a 5 over 9. So it's negative some more. Yeah. So now obviously this is not, you just said something like this is not a negative 1. So they are not perpendicular. Okay, yep, that's it for this question. That's it for this paper. Okay, cool. So hope I will have time to do maybe another paper if I have the time. Yep, so that's it for this paper, and hope you enjoy the video, hope you learn something from this paper, and wish you the very best of luck for your coming exams. Okay.